is April 21st, 2021. This is a regular meeting of Commissioners Court of Grimes County, Texas. Again, it's the 21st day. It is 9 a.m. We're at the Grimes County Annex Building. It is at 114 West Buffington Avenue in Anderson, Texas. We do have some folks present on site. We are on Facebook Live, and you can always watch us on YouTube after the fact. With that, the meeting has been called to order. We're going to ask Mac Vaughn, who serves as a chaplain for the Sheriff's Department, if you would lead us in the invocation. Folks, if you would remain standing for the prayer and the pledges to the U.S. and the Texas flag. Mac?
Let's pray. Oh, gracious God, how thankful we are to greet a new day. A refreshing day of temperature and sunshine. God, we come in here to take care of the business of the county. We thank you for those who have been elected, those who offer us vision and guidance. God, we just ask that everybody come together this day and meet on a plateau of grace and joy, knowing that we are all blessed to live in Grimes County. Amen. We ask all this in Jesus' most holy name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. Would you be seated, please? Next item on the agenda are public comments, and I do have responses or 3 requests for public comments. For those of you that might be listening online, I have a couple of comments that I'm going to make also, and I'm going to give you some information that you may want to jot down. So if a pen or paper is handy and close by, you might want to have those available in just a moment. For those of you making public comments, we're glad to hear from you. We would ask that you limit your comments to 2 minutes or less. First, I have Ms. Connie Clements, and you would like to, your employment is freelance, and you would like to represent a group or organization, Grimes County Crime Stoppers.
That's right.
So, the floor is yours. Can I get you to come to the...
Yes, I want to pass something out first.
All right.
Thank you.
Excellent.
My name is Connie Clements. I'm representing Grimes County Crime Stoppers. We are created by the Texas legislature under Chapter 14, Core 14 of the Texas Government Code. Our mission is to work with the public, the media, and law enforcement to arrest and convict criminals. And our project right now is promoting our tip line, and we are providing these signs these are 12 by 18 aluminum signs. We are providing these to anybody in the county. They're really great to hang on your fence post next to your no high-speed rail sign or your no trespassing sign. And we also have these smaller signs too, like you want to put them in a shop window or something. But these are absolutely free. And if you call 936-825-8687, you'll get a sign.
Thank you so much.
Also, the bookmarks, I wanted to let you know about the bookmarks. We also fund, the Crime Stoppers funds the tip line that comes into the Sheriff's Department. We also fund a campus tip line, and those are bookmarks that we put in every school district in Grimes County, and students can use their phone, the camera on their phone on that QR code, and it will take them directly to the Grimes County School District site where they can anonymously report like bullying or dating violence or weapons on campus or something like that.
Miss Connie, could you give that number one more time?
936-825-8687. And I'd also like to thank the county because they have assisted us in this. There have been a number of signs that are being put out in places in the county, like the waste collection sites, some of the county buildings and maintenance barns and things like that.
You serve as president of that organization, Crime Stoppers, do you
Correct.
not?
Yes.
Thank you very much for that service.
Will
Thanks the county for its support.
these be distributed at the schools?
Yes, the last school got on board, which was Navasota ISD, right as COVID hit. So that kind of hampered our, efforts of getting the word out. But Sergeant Martha Smith, who's our TIP coordinator, and she's also oversees the SROs for the school districts, she's still working with them, and as things open up, we'll be getting more information out to the schools about that. But they are aware of it because we have monthly meetings, and we do get a TIP report, and they are coming in from the campuses.
And for those that might be watching, SRO stands for School Resource Officers. So, thank you again.
Thank you.
Very nice. Next, I have Johnny McNally. Johnny is with the Navasota Grimes County Chamber of Commerce, and he would like to speak with us.
I also have a little handout.
Okay?
Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you this morning. Chamber of Commerce has been very busy the last several weeks. We are on the tail of a few successful events. One was a membership event we held at the end of March, where we brought on 70 new members into the Chamber of
Wow.
Commerce.
Wow, that's
That
good.
was a real boost to our organization. That was immediately followed by the wine walk that we had in downtown Navasota. We had over 300 participants on that afternoon, on a day that was fairly iffy weather. So it was a really successful event as well. All the downtown merchants did well. We had people stay in some of the hotels and ate at restaurants. Chamber of Commerce has been doing COVID tests, a rapid COVID test that takes 15 minutes to get results, and we offer that to all chamber members and their employees and their families. So far, we've given out more than 50 COVID tests. And so if anyone would like one, just contact the Chamber of Commerce and we'll set up an appointment for you. And then lastly, I wanted to mention the Chamber of Commerce Awards Banquet is on for April the 29th. That's a Thursday at 5:30. The program will start at 6:30. We plan on having, there's the flyer, we plan on having a steak dinner that's supplied by Mallet Brothers Barbecue. Lots of fun things we'll be doing there, and especially we'll be giving some well-deserved recognition to some companies and individuals in Grimes County. This is being held at the fairgrounds, so it gives us room to expand and be safe and.
Oh, you mean the fairgrounds that has recently been redecorated on the interior and
That's
has the
been
paved
completely-
driveway and everything?
That's been completely
Oh,
redone.
awesome.
It actually looks beautiful, inside and out. So we're excited to have it there, and we think it'll be a really nice venue and a really nice event. We're really not holding back on the event, but we're doing it safely. Mallet Brothers has been really good about how they'll be serving the food and making sure that people can feel confident about the way we're doing the event. We're also raffling off a truck that night, so someone will win a truck. So FYI. Visit our website, call us if you need more information, and that's my 2-minute update.
Johnny, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, thank you all.
And the COVID tests are easy, it's either pass or fail, right?
That's right.
Okay.
And in fact, we also do pregnancy at the same time. So
All service chamber, I tell you. All right. We also have a request from a Robin Trent Johnson. They would like to speak on paving of 175, would like to voice opinions. Ms. Johnson?
Hey, Robin. Good morning, Commissioners and Judge.
Good morning.
And I've got my timer on.
Okay.
I am a resident of Keith Community, and I have Mr. Lohman, a resident of King Oaks, along with me. I was addressed by Harry Walker day before yesterday that if, and I own 120 acres along 175. I was addressed that if I did not give my 600 foot of 15 feet, that I would hold up the paving of 175. It made me very angry. Especially since there's probably 10 other ranchers along 175 who are not giving up anything. I have been trying to get 175 paved for a long time. 175 is one of the main roads that goes from 244 to Highway 30. It also feeds into King Oaks, one of our largest tax bases in Grimes County. And whenever there is a wreck on Highway 30 between 175 and Carlos, they route cars down 175. And 175 is the most, pardon my French, crappiest road not in Grimes County, but it is not a good road. I've talked to Harry. I call them all the time. Miss Bobby and I are very good friends, and ask them to please grade it. And it's funny because after I talked to Harry, well, they graded it yesterday. But holy cow, I'm already up. Or maybe I didn't start it. I'm sorry. But anyway, my whole complaint or deal here is that I feel like I was singled out to stop a large project because of 600 feet that goes 15 feet into my property. I don't really have a problem giving up the 15 feet, but I have a problem, for one, that one of the other landowners is going around petitioning for people not to give up this frontage.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Did you have any other, no. All right. I have two that I want to share with the folks that are here and the folks that might be watching online. We've had 2 days of early voting throughout the county, and I know because of the school board elections or city elections and things of that sort, not everybody is eligible to vote. But thus far, in 2 days of elections, we've had a total turnout of 103 voters countywide. And we have 4 early voting locations. We have the Singleton Community Center, we have the Navasota Center, we have Long Street Community Center, and the courthouse in Anderson. I know this is not a presidential election, but these elections do affect your schools and the communities in which you live if you folks are on the ballot. So I strongly encourage you. We're spending your tax dollars to open up these voting centers, and although this is the first week of early voting, I'm gonna take more than 2 minutes, whoever set the timer.
Sorry.
That's all right. But just as an encouragement, that's one of the freedoms that you have living in Grimes County, Texas, in the U.S., and that's to exercise your right to vote. So I encourage you to get out there and vote. Second announcement, last announcement that I have under public comments is I want to give a quick vaccine update on COVID for those that might be interested. For those that don't know, we're in what is called PHR7. It's a district. We're made up of 30 counties in central Texas. Grimes County is one of those 30 counties. Of those 30 counties, only 7 of them have a local health department. 23 do not. Grimes County is one of those counties that does not have a local health department. But I just want to give you some information. In Grimes County, the way we're recorded, our population age 16 and older is 23,200. We have doses allocated, 4,400 doses. However, some of our people have been vaccinated out of county because we've got 9,080 people who have received dose 1. We've had a total of 5,444 people who have received both doses. So the number of people 16 that are at least partially vaccinated is right at 40%. So I'm not telling you to get vaccinated, I'm not telling you not to get vaccinated, but I am telling you that that process is moving forward. If you have any questions concerning, there is a 24/7 hotline number. That number is 254-778-6744. One more time, that's 254-778-6744. If you have questions or concerns about being vaccinated, that number can give you locations. More locally, our Emergency Management Services Coordinator, David Lilly, and he's present with us this morning. His office number, and he's glad to talk to any citizen that might have a concern, positive or negative, about the COVID vaccine process. His office number is 936-873-4404. His cell number is 979-204-4592. And he has your permission, you have his permission to call him if you have a question in regards to that, okay? Thank you, Mr. Lilly, for allowing me to make that information. With that, Commissioners, are there any other comments that you might have? Let the record note that Commissioner Dobianski is not present. I believe he's on vacation this week. With that, we're going to go to consent agenda items number 3, Road and Bridge consideration. Number 4, consider and take action to approve the treasurer's list of claims and bills. Consent agenda item number 5, approve monthly report submitted by the county treasurer for March 2021 and authorize advertisement of affidavit of same in accordance with local government code 114.026. It's page 5 of the agenda. Consent agenda item number 6, consider and take action to approve payroll. Consent agenda item number 7, consider and take action to approve budget amendments and or line item transfers. And that's it on consent agenda items. So again, that's consent agenda items number 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Comments or questions, Commissioners?
There are no comments. I move to approve consent agenda items 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 as presented.
Second.
There's a motion before the court by Commissioner Mallett, seconded by Commissioner Walker on consent agenda items number 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 for approval. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That's a 4-0 vote. We will go to agenda item number 8, Grimes County Commissioner Precinct 2. Commissioner Dobianski, is somebody taking his place? Do we have employees years of service? Mr. Maxwell, are you here? You are. Toledo, do we have those awards?
They're right here.
Oh, all of the, okay.
That means you can handle that.
May I have the honor, Commissioners?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That way I don't have to photobomb the pictures and do nothing like that. Mr. Maxwell, would you join me, please, sir?
I think that was here.
Is everything in place? Is
Check, these got somebody else's
You look
name.
good.
Thank you.
Sorry.
That's somebody else's name. That's his.
This is his, okay. I'm gonna
He
open
gets
this.
the big one.
That's right.
A big one, wow.
And if you win the correct lottery ticket, the chamber will give you a new pickup truck.
I've got a good pickup.
Oh, okay. Well, you can give me the
I'd
pickup.
rather take the check.
There's no check, okay? But, John, there is a very nice award that we have for you. It's a crystal that you can place on your desk or up on your TV or wherever you feel it's appropriate. And
Okay.
it's just a beautiful piece, and it says, "Years of Service Award presented to John Maxwell in appreciation for your 20 years of loyal and distinguished service to Grimes County. You make a difference," and sir, you do.
I do my best.
Judge,
Yeah. Kat, you want to come in? Because you're his supervisor.
Hi,
And
hi.
Philip?
Hello. This is
Howdy.
We're gonna open this so it might reflect in the picture, okay? I won't let it fall out.
Okay,
He's a hard-working man, too.
I do my very best.
One more.
Okay, thank you.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank
I
you.
didn't realize it had been 20 years.
You were having too
Seems
much
like just
fun, that's
yesterday,
what's going on.
Well, I had more hair then. So thank y'all
Thank
so
you, John.
much.
All right.
Clint Stringer,
You want
Mr. Stringer.
5 years.
Clint, how are you this morning?
Oh, all right.
All right, you ready to get back out there?
Pretty much.
All right, this is presented to Mr. Clint Springer for his 5 years of service, and you work over on our road and bridge, do you not?
Correct.
Congratulations, sir.
Congratulations, Clint. Yay.
You're probably gonna be on the front page of the exam, you know. Congratulations.
Thank y'all so much. And it's good to be alive to receive
You
it.
Thank
sure
you, thank
right. Bye-bye, Mr.
Bye-bye.
Maxwell. Thank you, Mr. Stringer.
Oh, Clint, do you want the box for that? There you go. All right. Mr. Andrew Duncan.
Woo-hoo.
Oh, get excited, Andrew, come on.
5 years already?
Unbelievable. This is presented to Andrew Duncan in appreciation for your 5 years of loyal and distinguished service to Grimes County. Started out over in the sheriff's office area and have, I will say, graduated up to our information technology group. Andrew, congratulations. Thank you, sir. All right, we will now go to, well, that's Commissioner, she's coming right back. Okay. That's the plan, huh? All right. Agenda item number 9, Texas A&M AgriLife County Extension Agent, Alan Holman. Alan, are you here?
We are here.
All right, come on in, bring your team.
We got the A+ team. I got Kyle here.
Johnny, thank you.
Thank you, sir. We're gonna keep one as a cheat sheet. We're gonna let y'all take the rest. There's a few extras, so if anybody needs an extra one, turn it off a few extras. All right, so this is number 2 for the year, interpretation event, that we try to come in here and let y'all know that we're still working even if you don't hear much out of us. I'll go first. I'll start with the Ag and Natural Resources for what we've kind of done since January. We had our big CEU conference on January 28th. We had 37 applicator license holders come get credits. We had a total of 55 participate in the event. That's including our vendors, our volunteers, and everybody that just came on out to hang out with us. We had 5 topics throughout the day. It was a all-day deal. We talked about hog transportation updates for feral hogs. We talked about the laws and regs, the latest laws and regs for having those private applicator license. We talked about drift management, when to spray, when not to spray. We talked about, let me see here, minimizing pesticide use in cattle operations. That was probably one of the neatest topics that we had not had before. And when you're spraying chemicals in and around your holding pens, some guys are a little leery about doing that around their cattle. So one of our speakers talked about how to minimize using pesticides by using other options around those holding pens and not having to use chemicals. We also, moving on to later in the year, we did a disaster assistance program right after the big freeze that we had. Me and a couple other agents across the kind of Brazos Valley area, we threw something together and said, let's offer some disaster assistance to those farmers and ranchers and let them know what they can recruit from their losses during the storm. So that was an online event that we had and turned out pretty good. We had 70+ people attend that. And then so far this year, I've been on a couple site visits. It's been about 7 or 8 site visits where we visited with landowners on weed identification. That's been the biggest thing. Today we're going out to look at a pond. So it's kind of that time of year where different weeds are popping up. Everybody wants to know what it is and how to kill it. Private applicator trainings, we've done 2 so far this year, and we've had a total of 9 people come in and get a private applicator license, or get the training to go take the test to get their license.
Alan, where y'all having to send them to take the test after they take the training?
Big city. They're either going to Houston, Waco, Austin. That's really about all we advertise, because that's as far as they're willing to go take those tests, but mostly Houston.
Is the state ever in the position to get some of that get a testing site closer to us?
I think Bryan College Station will eventually have one.
I would think with A&M there, they ought to be able to get it there.
I think they will eventually have one. The way they're growing and whatnot, they should have one.
If you have the opportunity to express at least my concern, I know it'd be beneficial, and maybe some of our folks would be a little bit more apt to jump in there and get that.
Yeah, a lot of them resist it. Whenever they come to the training, we say, well, now you gotta go to Houston and take the test. They're like, well, I'll just take this training and get the education, and then I'll just go on from there.
But then they can't legally buy the chemicals, and so,
But yeah, right now it's the big cities is where
Okay.
we're having to go take those tests. We also did a spring soil campaign. That was a multi-county deal that Grimes County and Waller County did, where it was a 2-week-long campaign where you could get soil samples for $8 versus the regular $12 that they pay year-long to do that. We had only 4 landowners submit samples, but they submitted 14 samples. So that made A&M do a little work over there in terms of analyzing those samples. We're going to do a workshop on May 4th to go over the cost benefits and why to get your soil sample. It's going to be an online deal. We're going to try to we're going to try to have it out of the office if we can keep internet going at the office long enough to do that campaign. If not, it'll be out of Waller County, and there'll be a link sent out to all those that turned in soil samples, and they'll get on there and we'll explain why you save money in the long run doing soil samples and getting the correct fertilizer recommendations and everything like that.
well, at the price of fertilizers today, 1 sample could save you a buck.
It'll save you a whole lot. And then we worked the COVID-19 regional vaccination sub-hub. We did that in February, a little bit in January, and then we worked it in February. Me and Kyla both did that, where we went over there and we were basically traffic control for everybody coming in and getting their vaccinations. We would take temperatures. We would mark the car if the temperature was under 100.3, I think it was, and they were able to move on. So we kind of just maintained traffic, make sure people didn't get run over, and then mark those cars after taking temperatures. And in the times that we worked, there was over 4,500 individuals come through there and get vaccinated. So we moved a lot of people through there.
Very good.
That's kind of it on the ag side right now. Beef and Forage Committee, they met once in January. It was online. We just couldn't meet due to being shut down in January. But we are scheduled to meet this Friday, where we're going to get some more programs for the rest of the year now that it seems like everybody's opening up and allowing us to go in and do stuff. So we'll meet Friday and get some plans for the summer. We kind of changed this piece up a little bit. We're in the top corner, we put our extension impacts just to kind of summarize on what we've done so far. So we thought it was kind of neat to show that. So far in 2021, we've had over 1,400 contacts through programs, newsletters, and face-to-face when they come into the office, or phone calls, that sort of stuff. Volunteers that help us. So far, there's been over 50 volunteers that have helped us at the events we've been able to do this year.
Does that include your 4-H event?
It does, yes.
Okay.
Mhm. And then we talked a little bit about the sub-hub vaccination efforts. I'll let Kyla talk about her walk across Texas when she gets down to her family and community health part. Real quick on the Master Gardeners, they're still rocking and rolling. Their most prized thing they do is their newsletter. It's a monthly newsletter that I work with them to put educational information in that, and that has grown to where we send it now out to over 300 plus people. If you want that newsletter, just shoot us an email and we'll add you to that list.
Cool.
And then their meetings and their work days, they've met 3 times for meetings and for work days at the extension office. They meet the second Tuesday every month for their meetings, and they decide what they're going to do at the work day. Then they come back the next Tuesday and they do garden work days at the office where they're trying to maintain those flower beds. Usually have about 20, 25 people at that stuff, or master gardeners at that. That's about it for me. I'm gonna turn it over to Ms. Kyler.
Morning.
Good morning.
So a little bit on the family community health side. So my committee involvement, I've met with my FCH program area committee and my Walk Across Texas people 3 times since January. We did plan a Walk Across Texas program that started February 14th and went through April 10th because it's an 8-week challenge for Grimes County. We did have 16 people sign up to participate during that 8-week challenge, and they walked over 2,000 miles during that 8-week challenge combined. Everybody, all 16, added that up. So really happy with that, and I hope this is a program that we can continue and grow every year. It's a really good way to challenge people to get moving and get active and whatnot. And then I do also have a 4-H Family Community Health Project Committee, and we did meet once. We talked about the past FCH 4-H related workshops. We got some feedback from them, how we can grow the involvement in these FCH projects, ideas, different workshops, what can we do to get these kids more involved on the FCH side of the 4-H project areas. And then I did do some program development training. So over the last couple of months, the family community health directors up at A&M have come out with a few trainings. I sat through one for a Do Well, Be Well diabetes program, and a new program that they came out for a healthy carbohydrate series program that is actually an online program. They're still in the works of doing that, but they did have an agent training, so I sat through those to kind of get some feedback and information on how to run those programs to potentially put that in play in the county. And then we did, like Alan said, volunteer at the SEP Hub vaccination, and I think both of us combined, it was over 30 hours of volunteering for the both of us
Very good.
at those SEP Hubs. But my main thing was the Walk Across Texas Challenge, so I was really happy that we had some participants this year, and I hope that's a program that we can grow and get bigger every year. On the 4-H side, so our county roundup was actually, we were able to do that in person February 26th and 27th at the fairgrounds. We did have 17 4-Hers that participated over those 2 days. And the county roundup that we host is mainly a practice contest for them to prepare for our district contest, which happens next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. In the Lone Star College is where our district roundup will be held, but they did contests that covered food show, food challenge, share the fun, ag product ID, public speaking, and livestock scale-a-thon. So those were the contests we offered for them to participate in. Alan and I have had some 4-H livestock project site visits. We did have 4 first-time livestock exhibitor families, so this is the first year that they decided to show an animal at the county fair, and so over the past couple months we've met with them and just talked about the basics of what they need to know and have ready to start working their animals and prepare them for our fair in June. And some of those species, we have some broilers, lambs, and goats that we talked about, so we're excited to get some new families in showing livestock this year. Our spring major stock shows, so we did have 25 plus youth that participated in our spring majors. Those included San Angelo, San Antonio, Houston, and Austin. Alan and myself, we assisted with those 4-Hers needs if they had questions, helping them prepare to take their animals to the major shows. And then we had several 4-Hers make the sale with their broilers at San Antonio, Houston, and Austin. And then we did have 2 4-H members that advanced to the Houston semifinals for public speaking, so we were really proud of those 2 kids. And then lastly, on the 4-H side, our county officers have decided to do a scholarship fundraiser for the Grimes County 4-H program. And they brought it to the Fair Board last Tuesday, and it was approved. So we will be doing a 4-H Fair Fun Day, 5 days during the county fair in June. So the kids are in charge of setting up carnival-like booths and games. And we'll be selling tickets, and the kids will also get the opportunity to buy wristbands. So they we're really excited about that fundraiser. We've had several planning meetings, and the council and the kids are really excited to do this fundraiser, and we hope it to be a really big hit. So maybe we can do that, maybe bring that back every year at the fair, so and kind of grow that. But that's on the 4-H and FCH side.
question on the stock shows and things. I know that's mainly 4-H, but do y'all ever work with any of the affiliate organizations, different breed organizations? Do our 4-H kids get to work with any of those? Do any of those affiliate kids get to work with our 4-H, or is?
Yes and no, to
Okay.
an extent. We work mostly with FFA.
Okay.
On the outside, like a breeder association, that's on those kids' own time. to
Yeah,
go
you're
to
right.
those breeders associations and things like that. And if they go do that, they're perfectly allowed, or they're allowed to go do that.
Right.
We don't really advertise it because we want them to come to us first.
Sure.
That way we can kind of keep them in the 4-H program as they get older, because sometimes they get we'll just say it, a jockey that will come in and kind of take over that project, and it takes away from what our job is actually supposed to do. So if they go, that's perfectly fine, no big deal.
Yeah.
But we don't really go with them on those kind of deals or advertise that stuff. We do work with FFA though, and try to mesh the two. When we validate for these major shows, it's us at the extension office and it's all the ag teachers. We're all out there together validating.
Right.
And try to have them meshed that way.
I know that our barn's rented out to the Santa Gertrudis, to the Mid-Coast Association, and I think they're May 1st at our fairgrounds, and they've got 191 entries
Yes.
of that one breed alone, and I guess I'm looking at ways that we can not merge them, but get 4-H kids interested there, Mid-Coast kids interested in 4-H, to
Right.
supplement the programs.
Right. So kind of get it where.
If y'all have any ideas on that, I'd be interested in hearing. Okay. Anything else? Questions, commissioners?
No, thank you,
You guys are
ma'am.
busy.
Just real quick, Miss Carla, she's not with us this morning. She's out running the roads, being busy. So she's done some stuff. I don't really all the details on it, but Healthy Heart Series is a series that she's done to basically cater to the senior citizen age group in our community, and she's done a few programs where she's had 25 plus participants at her event there. She does she goes to Bruley Elementary and does a Black History program in February. She went there and she talked to over 200 kids. So I mean, she's doing work as well. Her child passenger safety program is where they come in and get car seats fitted.
Mhm.
She's done quite a bit of that at the office already this year. And then Navasota Head Start is a program that she just said, be sure and throw that in there and let them know that I did 2 presentations and talked to over 30 people. So she's been working as well. The rest of this is upcoming events for the next couple of months.
Well, tell her next update, we'd like to see her smiling face, okay?
That's right.
I know.
She's
She likes to avoid us, I don't know why, but we like to see her smiling
do a
face.
visit, so. Yeah, Kyle may not be here.
May not be here
I'm not
next
going to expand on
July.
that unless you want to.
So I did want to invite y'all though, I know it's several months ahead of time, but in August, we do our 4-H awards banquet. And we did want to invite all of the commissioners, judge to come out, because we would like y'all to present some awards to the kids at the awards program.
Do you have a
or at the
date?
Awards banquet, August 1st. And it'll be at the fairgrounds. We don't have the time set or anything. We will send out a more formal invitation, but we just wanted to put that out there, so if y'all can put that on your calendars, we really
Absolutely.
appreciate it if y'all could come.
Good,
So wanted to invite y'all to that.
Thank you.
thank you,
Thank you.
All right.
appreciate the update. With that, we will now go to, I guess we'll go to agenda item number 10. That would be Grimes County Building Maintenance Manager Al Peeler, update on ongoing projects, Grimes County Jail, Grimes County Justice Center. Mr. Peeler,
Good morning.
morning.
First, the Grimes County Historical Bylaws you signed had the wrong date on it. I need that signed, please. We will go to the jail. There is no change in the jail. We're still waiting on CDC and all that, jail standards. We'll go right into the Justice Center, 2-week out, look ahead. You have that in front of you. Tape and float is done this week. We're still continuing on breaking it outside, and got some bad news from Daikin this week. what we thought we were gonna get our coils in April 19th, they pushed us back to May 21st. So we won't have air conditioning until June 1st. So that will limit us on what we can do in millworks and interior stuff. We can't do a lot of we can finish primering and stuff like that, but we can't bring any of the wood products in. We're continuing on doing our door locks, getting that figured out. Some of our technology we can still do, but that has set us back a little bit. So if you look in the PMPs, you got the PMPs. We've stayed pretty steady. There hasn't been anything brought to my attention. Grimes County completion schedule, you have that. It should be, I think, your last page, is that correct? You'll see our substantial completion right now is 8/16. And that means we're still gonna be able to, we're moving in. We can move in, but final acceptance is not until 9/13. So the difference between that is they're just doing their punch list, they're just cleaning up some issues with technology. It'll be some issues with whatever we find at that time. We're still gonna be moving in at that time.
How long that Daikin pushback, how long is that gonna delay us?
We'll have air June 1st.
And that'll allow us to have the
Then we'll start-
8/16?
Then yes, that's what they have laid out with the Daikin setback. Yes, sir.
So on the moving,
Mhm.
is it your, I mean, I don't really know if it's the court or you, but there needs to be some level of formal organization to how that's gonna take place. I mean, are we gonna, assuming that we hold true to the schedule, on August the 16th, if that's D-Day, so to speak, we just can't have a big load your cars and let's go type situation.
So, I prefer that not to happen. I always assumed, Commissioner, that it was gonna be the project manager putting a schedule out of move in and move out times. There is, we're gonna have to discuss, that's here later after furniture request. I'm gonna bring in movers and get their quotes so I can bring that to the Commissioner's Court. But I've always said, and Greg's here, we need a schedule. We can't just allow everybody on August 13th or whatever, 16th, whatever date, just everybody rush in, because you'll kill, first of all, you'll kill maintenance and you'll kill IT right there behind us with, hey, my computer don't work in 20 offices. So I've always assumed that the project manager was gonna lay out a schedule of move in and move out. So I would say we deal with the courts for the court stuff first. Give them 3 days. I believe me and Greg have talked about 3 days, and we can be transitioning when they pack the first one up. They move them, get everything set up. Why IT's working the last 2 days to get it. The movers can be the next department, and then we'll just do it like that.
While you're speaking of movers, I did take a look at when we were last here, April 6th, on the use of project funds outside of the Collier contract. I don't see moving on here. Where is that? I'm
I
not
don't
part
think
of the
so.
building committee, so I don't know what happened to the moving expenses?
Well, on my whiteboard in my office, there's a kind of the leftover amount, but there's moving, and we don't know what the cost is, but we know what's available at this time to apply to the moving. I say what we know, because we've had some cost reductions, some cost increases along the way.
Well, I just didn't see it in the list of things we received. And it's not an accurate picture to me if I don't see moving on here. I mean, that's major. So if we could be, or even have, instead of a building committee meeting, just call a workshop so we can look at some of these numbers, because that's a major number that's been left off of this use of project funds. And I don't know where we are.
Well, I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, Al, but I thought part of it had to do with the furniture, how much was gonna be new, brought in by the provider, how much is gonna be left behind. So one of the reasons, Commissioner, we don't have a moving cost put together, I don't think Al's in a position to go department by department saying this is going, this is staying, this is going, this is staying. Until he's in a position to do that, I don't think they can get a viable quote from a mover. Now, I understand you have a meeting with the auditor staff that's been assigned to that. Y'all are looking at that this week?
Me and Jennifer are working on furniture requests this week and next, and the following week after that. So until we can get a good number there, I can't tell you if we're below, higher, I don't know.
And I don't mean to speak out of turn, Commissioner Mallett, Commissioner Cox, y'all may have better inputs than y'all of the building committee on that. I just was sharing what conversation I had with Al and what we had talked about.
Right.
Well, I think at this point, we've got to get more hard numbers as far as some of the things that we have to do going forward, such as the furniture. I think the moving expense, if memory serves me, was somewhat incorporated into the furniture bid, but like I say, some of those elements have changed, and you're exactly right. I mean, that's a fee that's going to have to be paid unless we're going to utilize county employees, and I would not particularly recommend that to the volume that we have to go into a new building. So, you know, a workshop probably would be a good idea to discuss some of these things coming up that we need to make some of these decisions on.
This is a critical number that, in my opinion, we don't want probationers, we don't want diversion crew, we don't want regular employees moving their stuff, because we want an insured and bonded company to do that, because if somebody knocks a hole in a wall, that's not on Collier, that's on us. And or if they drag a desk across one of our new flooring, that's on us. If it's insured and bonded and they drag it across the floor, that's on them. That would be a critical thing to think about, but I'm not in that role to make that decision. That will all be your decision, but that's my opinion on that.
Well, then we can get a workshop scheduled to have this discussion. I would like to make sure that you have a pretty firm understanding with the auditors as to what we're going to do. We can review, I think, what we had $400,000 in the original contract on furniture, but along the way we said there's no way we're going to be spending that. I think the last, correct me if I'm wrong, Jesse, but the last analysis was if we bought everything new that was requested, it was about $165,000, which gave us some certainly some flexibility if we used some of the furniture money for moving expense.
So that was from various vendors. That's not from one vendor like what we're going with. So that number can easily change. That was just based off of
Sure.
the initial information.
And we think that 165 is a high number.
And I believe on the whiteboard, I don't have that in front of me, Commissioner Walker, maybe you can help me out. I believe on that number, we have already changed that to include the, what rate is that set at?
165.
165. We had already calculated it on, your whiteboard had already reduced it down to 165. So we don't have that 400 anymore because we have reallocated it to the additional road driveway. And so we've reallocated amongst other items and areas. So I think the 165 is what we're gonna pretty much have to try to stay within our budget according to.
And I agree, but I'm saying, I think the 165 is the highest that we had
I
talked
honestly
about.
can't answer that until we get our information back from the.
From the
vendors.
input I've gotten, that's the number I'm working with. So, I mean, that's as high as it should go. It should be less than that. I know yesterday we had a discussion with IT where we found a piece of equipment that we're not gonna have to utilize. It is a part of the contract, and that piece of equipment is $7,000 to $8,000. So that's going to be added back into the package that we'll be able to utilize, again, staying within our $12 million budget.
Well, I think one of the things, Al, you got some, I don't know if they're interviews or what you have coming up this week or maybe next week.
This week and next week and the week after.
And I think, you know, one of the issues that you might want to discuss with them is the price that they quote should include delivery and assembly.
Absolutely. There's only, yeah, absolutely. That's the only way I'm gonna negotiate with companies.
Yeah.
If they're gonna come in, bring it up, set it up, build it, and.
Yeah.
So that would
Absolutely.
probably have an impact on that as well. But we also have those high-density files that are gonna have to be moved, and that's an additional expense, isn't it?
No, the high-density files that was in the bid.
Yeah.
Now, in the storage building, Commissioner, when we use if we use these which is scheduled to use these 3 sets of high-density files, that will be considered in the storage maintenance building at that time. But
All that to say is we probably got a little more discussion to be had about. Couple of
absolutely,
issues
we have a
with
lot of
regards to that.
discussion before the end of this whole ordeal. Yes, sir. If there's no more questions, that's all I have for you today. We're just moving along on the building. It's looking good. They're pouring more driveways yesterday.
3 sections yesterday.
Yeah, 3 sections. We're moving right along. So there's no questions about the Justice Center. I'm complete.
Thank you, sir. We'll go to agenda item number 11, Grimes County Clerk Vanessa Brzezinski. Number 11, consider and take action to approve scanning and preservation for the World War I Military Defense Council Minute Book, missing pages from Deed Book B2, and additional Commissioners Court Minutes Books. See attachment number 11. Is it attachment number 11 or the new handout?
No, this is still attachment number 11.
Okay.
On this one. Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. So this was a proposal that I had brought to you a few months back. Nothing has changed except for the fact that I now have the funding in my Fund 54 to cover the expense for this. So the Commissioners Court Minutes books, which consist of 10, is $29,341.98. And the deed book with the missing pages in the World War I book is $4,773.63. So with those two combined, it comes out to about $35,000. And with the budget amendment that was approved this morning for $60,000, that should more than cover it. Any questions?
One more question.
Yes,
So the total that you just mentioned about 35, is that the 29 plus the 4,000 and something?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And that's coming out of the 60 we just budgeted?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And Vanessa, you had already, I believe, data preservation for 24,000 had already been done at the beginning of this year, so that's where the 60
Yes,
is.
yes, and that would make up the balance
Yes.
of that 60,000. That was
So-
the project that y'all approved last year.
And that was to include that project into that 60?
Yes, and these were all covered in her approved 2021 Records Archive Plan
Mm-hmm.
by Commissioner's Court. And
So does that conclude, have y'all concluded your audit? I mean,
that's Fund 54, that's a different.
that's Fund 54, this is Fund 20?
No, that was Fund 21 that the audit.
Fund
is being
54
done.
is where the monies are currently coming out of. What we're discussing right now is Fund
Mhm.
54.
Okay.
Two different.
But the court had already approved your
The archive.
plan.
Correct.
Yes, sir. Yes, so that was approved last year. Last, when we started our new budget.
Is there a motion? I'll make a motion on agenda item number 11, consider and take action to approve scanning and preservation of the World War I Military Defense Council minute books, missing pages from deed book B2, and additional Commissioners Court minute books are attachment number 11.
Second.
There's a motion before the court on agenda item number 11 by County Judge Joe Faust, seconded by Commissioner Mallett. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? That motion carries. We'll go to agenda item number 12, consider and take action to approve the civic clerk software package for Commissioners Court meeting agendas, minutes, and live streaming services, and authorize the county judge's signatory. See attachment number 12, but I understand we have an updated handout.
We do have an updated handout. The total numbers did not change. What did change is, John C. had looked at this contract and he had noticed that there was a clause that says that there would be a 5% annual increase beginning in year 2. So I went back to Civic Clerk and they have reduced that to 3% annual increase. So that's the only change that was made. So, just kind of a brief overview. This is a software package that's going to benefit both the county clerk's office, the county judge's office, and Commissioner's Court as a whole, because this will provide live streaming video services for our county commissioner meetings, as well as closed captioning, which will provide, that level of service to be ADA compliant for people watching at home. It will allow us to prepare agendas in minutes more efficiently, and it will allow you to be able to have access to all of that information. And when the minutes are being live streamed, the public can view it live with the agenda, and they can follow along the agenda with the meeting. Afterwards, they can go to the agenda, click on an agenda item, and that portion of the video will play. It's a great tool. I've looked at other companies that provide agenda meeting minute software. None of them provide this live streaming service that I think is really valuable, because the system we have now in this room is not moving to the new building. So once we get into the new building, we are going to need a system in place to record our meetings, to broadcast our meetings, and it will give y'all more information in things like electronic voting. I can take better minutes by just, it will tell me who made that motion and who seconded that motion, and do voting all with the click of a button. And I have Greg here.
There.
If you would like, I'd just like to him to just kind of explain the IT side of this and the need for this.
Before you leave the podium, one
Yes.
question. Do we, with COVID that's come through and everything else, do we have legislative requirements to provide all that this software provides, are we required to?
Okay, so
Good.
based
Go
on our population, we are not required to live stream our meetings.
Okay,
But I think as a courtesy to the public and the fact that we have been doing that, I think it's something that we should continue because I think it's a service that the public would need.
I don't disagree with what we've been doing,
Yes, sir.
it's been the
But no,
right
we're
thing.
not-
I just, because if we're required, then that makes our decision,
Absolutely.
sounds like another
But
unfunded
based on our
mandate.
population, we are not required,
Okay,
but we have been doing it. Yes, sir.
Dr. IT,
Yeah, I've been working with Vanessa some. We've been through several.
would you come to the podium and identify yourself,
Oh,
please?
sorry, I'm Greg Cannon, I'm the Director of IT for Grimes County. I have been working with Vanessa, looking at this software. She's asked me to look at it from a technical standpoint. You know, professionally, it looks like a well-written program. It seems to cover all the bases, like she said. And as she mentioned, in the new Commissioners Court, we're not taking this system. It can't be taken over to the new court. We'll have
Why
to-
is that?
Because the system that went in place here, the company's gone out of business and they had all the passwords. We tried to recover them, we can't get into reprogramming any of that information.
So we use it here, we don't use it at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can't even update the system now, which is several years out of date. Cherie's touchpad and stuff just won't work, so. I mean, we might be able to reuse a microphone or something like that, but the equipment itself wouldn't be able to because we can't get into it, can't log into it. But we'll need something over there. Now, we're gonna have cameras in the courtroom, but those are security cameras. We're not gonna have cameras for live streaming the Commissioner's Court. So that would be a benefit if we had this system there where we could do the live streaming of the court.
Where's the hardware? Is there certainly there's gotta be hardware, is that part of the contract?
No, we would have to provide our own hardware.
So what's the cost of the hardware?
And that's something that we'll have to look into.
Yeah, we've looked at it in the past, depending on what hardware they support, or the camera itself's in about $600-700 range.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what any additional equipment would,
So are you talking about a camera?
yeah. Yeah, much like we have in here, just a single camera.
Okay. So we're not talking about multi-$1,000s in hardware cost to be able to use this software?
Correct. That's the indication I've seen in looking at the demos and stuff.
Would we have to purchase tablets for the Commissioner Court member?
They could use their existing laptops, or we could have tablets if preference of the court, I guess. But, yeah, it doesn't have to be a tablet, it can be your laptop.
Well, any type, if they all have laptops.
They all have laptops.
Any device, even a cell phone, it'll work.
Is there devices that we have to have in order to have court? Everything's coming on a device now?
I mean, that's the
No.
wave of the future. I mean, that's kind of the way things are progressing to, as opposed to having everything on paper. A lot of counties have started doing that where everything is electronic. So instead of getting a paper packet, you would get an electronic packet. Now, if you just want to print it out, you're more than welcome to. But, you know, it saves paper. I can't tell you how much money, we have spent so much money on paper, it's ridiculous.
Okay.
So it's just, you know, to me, it's an environmental thing too.
Okay, well, I do have some concerns, because I remember you saying that we needed iPads. You know, in the
We
lab, I
have
went
to
back
have
and
iPads.
reviewed it, and you
Right,
talked
but-
about, you didn't know how much hardware we needed.
Right,
That wasn't outlined.
okay.
The cost concerns me. We're talking, as we broke it down before, this first year, $21,635. If you divide that out by 12 months, that's $1,800 a month. We have court twice a month. That's $900, $901 every time we have court, just to record court that's not required, and we've been using, you know, Facebook to do that. That seems a lot.
I
That sounds like a lot of money
understand.
just to be able
But we
to
will
do
have to have
that.
something. Whether, if it's not this, we'll have to have something.
Well, I understand that, but what I'm saying is, that's where I'm going with that.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to look at what else is out there, because if we're gonna have to have that equipment, then, you know, we can talk about all of it, where we can really delve into it, because, we're still what you call an economically distressed county. Okay, so your larger counties like Barron, Harris, and Dallas County, maybe they can afford that kind of thing. But just to record minutes, $900, that's somebody's salary, you know. And I don't know if you're talking about this year or next year. What timeline are you?
Well, what I would like to do is to go ahead and purchase this now so that we can have time to get it installed and do the training, and then plan for next year's budget to be budgeted. The good thing of it is, though, is this is not money that the county is gonna have to expend out of their general operating funds, because we can use records management funds to pay for this,
But
which
it's
is
still
what that is for.
It's still money, Vanessa, and
right.
we're still moving into a new building.
Mhm.
I think that from past experiences, some of the software that we've gotten into, say for instance, New Don, where department heads and county officials thought they had to have that particular program and didn't implement that program like they thought they were going to, and then we had to buy ourselves out of it. So I think it deserves its own, maybe its own meeting, so we can get into the nuts and bolts of it and see what else is out there. Because, you know, this is an exorbitant amount. Even in the second year, still $605 per court meeting just to record the minutes. And if I recall, people talking about, not people, I'm sorry, cat dog, I'm not, but it's jobs involved that people have been hired to do some of these jobs. Does that change their job qualification? Does that change the grade scale in terms of qualifications or requirements of their job? You know, how does this affect everybody as a whole?
I don't see it changing that. I don't see it changing people's job descriptions. But I can tell you that it takes 3 hours to upload these videos to YouTube. And I know there's security issues with using Facebook. Greg, am I correct?
And that would be a great opportunity to sit down and talk about those things then.
Okay.
But to just say we're gonna approve something today that we haven't looked into all of it, you know, as thorough as we should, concerns me, because if I recall, you also have an assistant, Mary Johnson, that if I recall, her position was brought on to do minutes here at the court. And, you know, how does that affect her position? And, you know, it's just a lot to look into what else is out there in terms of recording these minutes, because we're not required, I heard you just say, as a county, that we have to spend this type of money, you know, every 2 weeks to record minutes.
Well, no, we are required to record minutes. What we're not required to
I mean,
do is have
record
video.
video.
Mhm.
So this is basically recording the video. I'm trying to see what it's going to it's going to relieve you on doing the minutes,
It's going to make it faster and easier, yes.
and it's going to help Cherie in terms of uploading it.
No, because these will be uploaded automatically. Cherie will no longer
Well, I'm
have
saying,
to
you just
upload
said
these.
she spends hours
It'll
uploading
automatically
it
integrate
to
our
YouTube.
website.
But we don't know where we are. We haven't had a full year of even looking at how COVID is going to impact our revenue into the county.
Well, this
I mean-
will not affect that, because this is revenue that my office has already collected. This money's sitting there to be spent
In
for
what
things
fund?
like this.
And what fund?
That's Fund 21.
Okay, and what is it called? Records
It's called
retention?
Records Management.
Records management. So
yes.
records management can be used for what else?
It can be used for records preservation, records management, scanning, preservation, and things like this, software.
So do you have more scanning that you're gonna see yourself doing
Oh,
and going?
absolutely. Yes,
Okay,
we're doing a
and
lot of
then-
in-house scanning as well.
Aren't your
Same.
files, the places that you store your files, that's retention, that's preservation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I keep hearing us say we gonna look at furniture and where it's coming from and all of it. That's something that could come out of, in your office, out of that fund.
Furniture cannot come out of that fund. Maybe
So
the
retention, the
Or
shelving,
the books could come out of that fund. But this, like I said, the fund's already there to fund this project. It's not something that we have to dig for. It's already there. And the handout I gave you shows you how much money is in there. There's over $200,000 in that fund. And I've already collected over $20,000 since January of this year, which will more than cover the first year's cost.
the cost still concerns me to record a
I
court
understand.
session for $901 every time we have one.
There's a lot of software programs that we use that are costly, but they're beneficial to the county. So, it's all about on how you wanna look at it, I guess.
Good, can I?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, one of the things that concerns me is this is not the first time that we've taken this into consideration.
Correct.
And we have not done so in the past because Fund 21 needs an audit. And that,
Correct.
to my understanding, based on information in our packet today, those are that fund remains unaudited. And in my opinion, until we get a good grasp on that money in that account, we probably should not be spending money out of that account. Because while you're correct in your assessment that part of that money is yours, there are other people that have access to a portion of this money. And that, I think, is what we need to determine before we move. Yes, there apparently is $225,000 in there. But based on collection and the law at the time it was collected, not all of that money is designated for the county clerk's office.
Well, I'm gonna disagree, but what I'm gonna say is that part of those funds are not what they're auditing. They're auditing court costs. 90% of those funds don't come from court costs. They come from property records that are filed in my office.
Okay.
And so I, divided that out. And so those funds that I gave you don't even include court costs, which are the funds that are in question. So I'm just thinking, there's money available. Yes, they're still doing their audit, but yes, I need to function.
Yeah, but I don't think this program's gonna make you have any impact on your function. You have an employee to do what you're proposing to do with part of this. You take the minutes, and the information is accessible to the public. We have recordings now that are uploaded to YouTube as well as Facebook Live.
Correct.
The implementation of this today is not gonna mean a hill of beans to whether or not that you or this county can function.
I
Everything's
agree,
accessible to the
but going
public.
forward into the new building, we won't have that.
Sure
So
we
I'm
will.
just trying to look ahead, trying to plan ahead.
Well, the system won't go to the new building, so all we'll have is Facebook at the time.
Right, but we're not under any legal requirement to even record the meetings, even though it is beneficial, and I encourage us to do so. This could still happen.
Understood.
If y'all would like to have a workshop, I'm happy to provide that.
I will put the auditor on the spot. When do you think the audit will be done? And I'm not asking for tomorrow. You tell me when you think the audit will be done, because once that's done, then we should have the workshop.
I believe I'd answered that in November, and I believe I had said July.
Do you think that's still a good date for you?
I know that Vanessa is eager to look at programs, and so we will work very diligently to get that.
But you've had a lot of transition in your department, and I want to give you enough time because we're getting ready to roll into budget season, so
Yeah.
that's going to take time. So
Yeah.
if you think July is when you're going to be good,
Yes, if you give us till the end of July, I
Okay.
think we'll be.
Then Sheree, would you make a notation that we'll set a workshop sometime in August? Okay?
Okay. And I will be putting this in the budget request, or I already have, for
Okay.
next year as well.
Sounds good. Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you both.
Thank you, Greg.
This, I'm sorry, this is not audience participation, but I appreciate, if you want to stay after the meeting, we'll be glad to listen to your thoughts. Okay, so we're going to table that agenda item. We'll go now to agenda item number 13, discuss and take action to adjust Veterans Services Officer salary. It is expected that the court will conduct a closed session as authorized by Texas Government Code 551.074, personnel matters.
Good morning, Court, Judge. It was brought to my attention during some of the budget preparation process that our Veterans Officer's salary was not adjusted correctly at the beginning of the year. And so I have some numbers to go over with you, and it is specified to a single employee, so by statute.
Mr. Lafferty, do you want this opened or do you want this closed?
I prefer it closed.
Okay, he's requested it to be closed. I'm going to ask auditor to stay. Everybody else, and the commissioners stay. Everybody else, please vacate. Take us. All right. The court is reconvened from executive session. The time is 10:38 a.m. We are still on the same day, which is Wednesday, April 21st, 2021. We went into executive session on agenda item number 13, and we are going to table that action until we'll get it back on the agenda, Cherie, for the first court in May, please. We'll now go to agenda item number 14, discuss and review current Grimes County salary structure regarding all employees. See attachment number 14. And we're going to look at the new handout versus attachment 14.
Yes,
okay.
sir. So Commissioners and Judge, this is just we're getting ready to get in the time of the year or budget preparation and making changes to our current salary structure. So you have the most updated copy. I don't know if the highlighted areas will show up on yours or not. I tried to get it to come up. There are some changes on here that are highlighted. If they're not, I will email it out to you so you can see them.
I'm kind of lost now. Which one was it?
The one that has the mark through on the part-time, the LE livestock officer.
Okay, thank
That's
you.
the most current one. So back in February, we adjusted some salary grade structures, mostly in the LE section, and we created.
Which is
a
law
position.
enforcement.
Yes, law enforcement. So I made some of those adjustments here, and once we meet in May to make all the final adjustments and stuff, I'll have a new one done up and we'll get it approved for the new current budget year. What I want to get on the court's mind is to start thinking about possibly adjusting these salary structures or grade levels, not necessarily the starting pay, but maybe the top pay. I know we did it a couple of years ago, and it seemed to help alleviate some of the salary issues with people reaching a cap and not being able to receive merit raises as the court gives them. Now is not the time to agree on any of this. I just wanted to bring it up so we can discuss and review and maybe get the court's thinking on which route maybe you all would like to go in adjusting. It is my wish that the court will give a cost of living raise this year to the county employees, since expenses have gone up a lot this year. Just to give you an example, a porch that I was going to build a couple of months back was about $1,500, and now it's going to cost me $3,500. So everything's gone up, from the price of lumber to gas, clothing, and so I really would like to see the county give a cost of living raise to its employees.
Well, we're not going to make a decision today because the agenda just says discussion, review, current. The very first one that I'd like to discuss, or at least have some consideration, is grade 1, which covers our part-time positions. We have a starting range of $8, and the maximum for that range is $14. I just make a comment that I would like to see us have a higher rate than $14, because it could be that we need a more professional level part-time person, but say we needed to bring in an auditor for a special This American Rescue Act, and we wanted to have a auditor dedicated to that, it didn't require full-time work, we might not get the quality of auditor that we want for $8 or $10 an hour. It might be that we need to pay them $18 or $20 an hour. So one of the things, court, I'd like us to consider is, in particular on the part-time, just have a broader range from versus 8 to 14, maybe take it 8 to 18 or 8 to 20. Just to give us another benchmark, and not that we would ever use it, but if we need it, we have it. And Madam Auditor, don't think we're going to add another auditor just because I used you as an example, even though it sounds like a good idea. But that's my thought on that very first category. And while I'm speaking for just a minute, I don't know if you're going to get any input from other counties or what have you, but when this salary structure was originally put together, and jobs were graded by the Job Evaluation Committee, and Commissioner Cox, I think you kind of, along with the HR Director, had that for review in February and May on job description revisions and things of that sort. But what I would suggest is we also, because we had it, when the salary structure was put in, we initially started with a 20% spread from bottom of the salary to the top of the salary. To take care of adjustments and longevity and things of that sort, we ended up increasing it with a 25% spread. Appropriate or inappropriate, I don't know at this moment, but maybe we need to have a 30% spread, or we take a look at every grade 2 and above and making a minimum adjustment there. I know that there's been conversation come out of Washington, D.C., some of it intelligent, a lot of it unintelligent, but they talked about a $15 minimum pay, and that's double or almost double of what minimum pay is right now. And I'm not suggesting that we have a minimum pay of $15 in Grimes County, but if legislation ever moves that direction, we need to anticipate, I think, some of those moves and be prepared. So that might be a reason to adjust the minimum at this time, but it's not a requirement as I see from my perspective. Commissioners, your thoughts? Mr. Walker?
Do we have many people that make below 10?
No.
I didn't think so.
No. Unless they're part-time.
Unless they're part-time. The part-time people will come in at 10. I believe all of our full-time employees have a minimum start balance of $12 an hour.
Right.
So we don't have anybody that makes less than 12.
Mhm.
That's a full-time employee.
Correct.
I just want to clarify that.
And you as a court made that decision before I got here, I think.
Mhm.
Yes.
I was an outsider then.
Sitting up there.
Mhm.
And this is discuss and review. This is just for us to take some.
This is just for me to have a chance to get some of your feedback so I can start preparing or doing some research. But I have reached out to some other counties, but the information that I received back was from some rather large counties. Not a lot of the smaller counties, is what I'm finding out, actually has a salary structure in place.
And what does TAC say about it?
I have not reached out to TAC yet because I was trying to go to the other counties first. But TAC is on my list to get a hold of since I'm not getting very many responses back from the actual.
Because I'm sure they do a salary survey every year, every 2 years. So you may find a lot of information, there that you might be looking for also.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sheree, would you take and put this on the May 1st agenda, but I would like to have this before we discuss the veterans. Okay? So we'll discuss and take action, possibly. Any other comments you want to make at this time, Commissioners? Ms. Coleman, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We will now go to agenda item number 15. I know he's been waiting over there patiently. Road and Bridge Engineer Harry Walker, agenda item 15, discuss and possible approval of amendment of previous authorization for Road and Bridge to auction various items to include 3 pickup trucks instead of 2 pickup trucks, and 2, authorize Road and Bridge to transfer 1 pickup truck to Maintenance Department for the remainder of the fiscal year. See attachment number 15. Mr. Walker.
I made a mistake on our auction. Back in November, we originally came to court and got authorization to auction various items. I had requested permission to auction off 3 of our old pickup trucks. After discussion at that meeting, the actual motion was to auction 2, and that the maintenance department and I were going to exchange community service hours for head guard cleaning.
Right.
That was all set up on the spur of the moment during court. When Al got out and looked at what was going to be required to clean cattle guards, he said, there's no way I could do it with the community service guys. So that deal fell apart. Al and I never talked about it again after that. In February, after we'd gotten our new trucks in and were ready to actually do the auction and get rid of the old trucks, I never went back and read the minutes. I just had in my mind we got permission to auction 3 trucks as we originally requested. We went ahead and did that, sold them, and then the question came in, said, what about Al's truck? By that time we'd conducted the auction, the truck had been paid for and delivered. So it's gone. I made a mistake, that's on me. Talked to the auditor's office about it, okay, what's gonna happen when the auditors come in next year and they say, you know, this doesn't match up. So the auditor's office and I decided we need to come to court and get a ratification of what was done or an amendment to the original motion to clean this up. I don't know if y'all not willing to do that, what happens when the auditors come in. Well, obviously we'll get our hands slapped. I don't know what that amounts to, but I would like to go ahead and address it now. And then as a companion item, the maintenance department is still in need of a truck. And the auditor's office suggested we transfer one of our trucks to the maintenance department for the remainder of the fiscal year and on sort of a temporary basis, which we're willing to do that. Yeah, I'll be willing to transfer it on a permanent basis, but either way, it's fine with me. Questions?
The truck you have to transfer, what truck is it? I mean,
The trucks that I would put in the auction next year, there's another, what Al and I had talked about originally was a 2006 single cab pickup. I've got an identical truck like that we plan to auction off next year. I've also got a 2010 extended cab that we're planning on putting in the auction. Either one of those would be fine. That would be my thinking.
okay, on the 2010, you said it's extended cab.
It's an extended cab.
Wouldn't that be more to better suited for him because he has community service people that you haul around?
Yes, ma'am.
And it's a later model truck. So do you anticipate getting this big difference in?
It makes very little difference to me.
Okay.
You know, again, they're both trucks that we're slated to dispose of next year. You know, I think either one of them would suffice for Al's needs. The extended cab probably works better, but I'll let him make that determination.
What happens if you give in the extended cab this year? What's it do to you until next year?
Well, we have, and we've got multiple trucks available in the department. Particularly right now, we still have an extra truck that was the superintendent's truck.
Ah, yeah,
I
okay.
can cover our needs for the remainder of the year.
Okay.
We'll work around that.
Okay.
You know, again, it's And it, to me, it doesn't matter whether the truck comes back to us at the end of the fiscal year or stays with his department, but that's what was suggested.
How would that, Jesse, how would that work? Let's say Al got the extended cab now, kept it, liked it, wanted to keep it next year. How would we get the books right on that?
We just transfer it within our system. Right now, it's listed under Road and Bridge as an asset.
Okay.
We would change it to building maintenance, but we just figured, or I guess figured, that using it for the remaining of the year, would be beneficial. And we're fixing to come up on the budget workshop for fiscal year 2022, and at that time, we could go into further discussion in regards to the vehicles and what shall be done at that time. So
Okay.
it was a temporary fix for the situation.
And Al, your preference is the extended?
Do you know, Harry, do you know what the mileage is on?
Not right offhand, I would suggest you go look at both of them before you commit to which one.
Okay.
I mean, I think we could probably address it in a flexible enough format.
I think so.
They can transfer whichever of those two vehicles that Al thinks best suits his needs.
Commissioners, any comments?
Okay, so
Any
we're
motion?
taking two actions here. Is that what I'm hearing you say? To go back and
One is
amend?
To amend the original authorization for the auction,
Mhm.
and then the second one to transfer a vehicle to the maintenance department.
Okay.
Judge, if there's no questions, I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I move that we approve item number 15 as specified on the agenda. And as far as the transfer of pickup, that will be left to mutually agreed arrangement between Road and Bridge and Maintenance Department.
Perfect. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
There's a motion before the court on agenda item number 15 by Commissioner Cox, seconded by Commissioner Mallett. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Harry.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 16, consider acceptance of temporary construction easement on County Road 185 and authorize county judge signatory number 16.
On County Road 185, we need to make some repairs to that bridge. Fix up tanks and things in their last round of inspections. In order to access the channel of the creek, we need some, like a temporary construction easement on private property. I've approached the property owner, Mr. Fogarty, and he has agreed to convey a temporary construction easement to us for a period of not more than 6 months to allow us to do that work. And then it will automatically expire on the completion of the work. I just need approval and authorization for the judge to sign the easement.
I move to accept the temporary construction easement on County Road 185 and authorize the county judge's signature.
Second.
There's a motion before the court on agenda item number 16 by Commissioner Mallett, seconded by Commissioner Walker. Is there further discussion?
Judge, I just have a quick clarification.
Sure.
Mr. Walker, I don't know if you've got an excellent printer or I have the original.
He's got an excellent printer.
It's my printer.
Okay.
Thank you for
You have an excellent printer.
I'm very proud of it.
The stamp and everything's covered.
This is the
That's
original?
the original.
That is the original.
It's great, right?
There is a motion before the court on agenda item number 16 by Commissioner Mallett, seconded by Commissioner Walker. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
We're gonna have to go back to credit
So
copies.
I'll need to sign that and then it'll need to be notarized, so Sheree can do that for you. We will now go to agenda item number 17, consider and accept annual road condition report and authorize county judge as signatory. See attachment number 17.
The legislature has determined that we need to submit an annual road condition report. It's in conjunction with the CTIF grants. We started this last year. This is the second one. Basically, the report itself is fairly short, kind of summarizes what we've done with our roads this year and the condition of them. There are extensive spreadsheets that go with this. I think y'all will send a copy in your packets. It's based on our road inventory. The purpose of the report really is to identify if there are particular issues that are causing damage on given roads, especially if there's oil field traffic, oil field construction that's damaging the roads. If you recall the original search grants, there had to be zones basically identified that, okay, we've got a lot of oil field traffic here, we're gonna focus that money on that area. They've done away with that requirement, but we still have the requirement for the report. So particularly they're looking for not just routine damage issues on the roads, oil field traffic, pipeline construction, something like, for example, the solar farm, things like that, that would be a specific source of damage to a road that might be addressed in the future. With that said, I'm glad to answer any questions you might have.
Do you know, because I know the amount of mileage that we have under your jurisdiction, under our jurisdiction, is continuing to increase. Because once upon a time we quoted, well, we had 600 miles of road in Grimes County, and now we're over 700 miles of road.
It's, yes, the number of miles of roads is increasing. We have continuing platting going
Right.
on, new activity there. Some of the numbers are changing just from, we've abandoned a few roads for various reasons, or we've had new roads dedicated in other locations. But the general trend is always going to be for it to increase. And there are a lot of different ways to count it. I saw something somebody wrote today that said there are over 1,100 miles of roads in Grimes County if you count everything, the state, the county, the local jurisdictions, private roads. So there's a lot of different ways to look at it. The numbers we're reporting here are based on our annual road inventory and reflect that county maintained roads only. Doesn't
For
include the
2020.
municipal roads, doesn't include the state, just county roads.
For 2020?
Yes, ma'am.
And the 2.6 miles of concrete road, is that in a subdivision?
Yes, ma'am. There are a couple of subdivisions that are built county roads that are concrete, and then we've had like Hill Street, when Dollar General went in there, they paved a portion of that. There's a very small percentage of concrete roads in the county, but there are a few around, and some of the developers prefer to do that, so just to save on long-term maintenance.
Have we incorporated Reagan Estate roads yet?
They are not finally accepted at this point, as I recall.
Okay, because I was gonna say, that's 2 miles or
I think
so
we're getting
there.
close to when that would be accepted. I'd have to double check on that.
So currently, we sit at 642 miles of county maintained road.
Yes, ma'am. And it's broken down into different types of surfacing, which is the classifications of what you consider in each different surfacing type. Is more fluid. Some people would look at something called a gravel road, some would call it rock.
And there are standards according to our statutes that say a road isn't supposed to be fall below a certain grade when we use a unit system. Is that correct?
There is a classification system for the roads. It's an ABC system which has certain criteria, right-of-way width, and surface width of the road, those kind of things, yes.
Okay. Are those state statute driven, just like this report?
I mean, they're written down, they don't look like this report, but.
No, but I'm saying, yeah, what I was quoting was from our Texas Local Government Code.
We don't, I don't know, in fact, if Grimes County ever went through and adopted the classification of the roads on that system, the ABC. A lot of things kind of changed with the 258 maps being adopted. And I think many counties use that instead of the ABC classification. I'd have to do some research to see if sometime years back in the past, the county ever did accept that or adopt that. If that was done, I'm quite certain it has not been maintained as we have new roads and things. It hadn't been updated.
So do you, as a unit director, engineer, do you classify your roads for your own personal departments?
We don't have a detailed classification. We use this kind of information. This is more meaningful to us. What's the surfacing? In planning our paving program, maintenance program, we look at the type of material that's on the road, the type of traffic, if it's a bus route, right-of-way issues, those kind of things. The classification was intended to look at many of those kind of issues, but it's very simplified. It's down to basically right-of-way width and the width of the surface.
Do you know within your department, is there anything that says that I'm County Road 328, we're going to classify it as, in need of resurfacing or within your own department?
I have in here in these tables, I've identified condition ratings,
Yes.
1 through 5. It's in the tables that are attached to this.
Okay.
And we've identified specific issues. There's a drainage issue on such and such a road. There's pipeline activity that's creating issues, that kind of thing. I don't have anything, I've never seen anything that even specifies the ABC classification for the county road.
So in this one, you have it as precinct though, but not a.
I broke it down by precinct just for clarity. That's always an item of interest. Which precincts have more roads and what type of roads. Some precincts may have less road, but more of them are paved, that kind of thing. For example, precinct 3 is the smallest mileage of roads, but probably the highest percentage of asphalt paved roads. So it's a balance.
Well, precinct 2 then.
Oh, now his percentage is less than 25%.
Of his total road?
Of his total.
Okay.
And yours,
I was just looking at the number you had, the 56.
46 out of 54, that's like 80%. And that just reflects, your precinct is the urbanized area of Navasota primarily. Of course, most of those aren't county roads.
They're in municipal, they're counted in the municipal.
Yeah, they're not counted in here. So it's a little bit of a misperception.
Mr. Walker, is this report available through the website?
We have not put it on the website. The tables are so extensive, I'm reluctant to put, I could put the summary on the website, or it'll be in the minutes as an attachment. I'm reluctant to put all the tables on the website. There's a lot of information there that you know, just to tell you, the road inventory is a document just by itself, and that's all we wanted.
I will say this, I mean, I think it's, I don't know how extensive I'm sure the tables would be, but this report would, I think, be valuable information to the public so that they, I mean, it's a very good summary.
A lot of detail.
I have no objections to posting it on the website at all, the summary. Like I said, I just didn't not put all the detail back up tables, so.
Is it something, the tables, is that something you can provide for us?
I think they were all sent to you.
I didn't forward it to him, but I can. I'll do it when I get
Okay.
back. It's just, it is massive.
That's okay. That's good.
Lots and lots of them.
It's okay that it's massive, that's what I'm saying, because many times we're asked about roads. And if we had access to say, okay, this, you know, for our own benefit, this is a chip seal road, and okay, the last time that it might have been, yeah.
Yeah, I think, you know, putting the summary report on the website would be perfectly acceptable. And we could provide the detailed tables to each of y'all, where you can pull information out if you get an inquiry.
Sure.
I just really believe there's a lot of work that goes on with regard to county road system, and I certainly think that there might be some citizens that would be interested in how much work is actually put into the road system.
Or be surprised at how much work goes into it. I'll make a motion on agenda item number 17 that we consider and accept the annual road and bridge report and authorize the county judge as signatory. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Cox beat you.
Okay.
There's a motion before the court on agenda item number 17 by County Judge Joe Paus, seconded by Commissioner Cox. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 18, consideration and possible approval of Reagan's Run Phase 2. See attachment 18.
Commissioners, this is phase 2 of the Reagan's Run subdivision. They brought in the first phase about a year ago. This is on County Road 220. Across from the Horseshoe Acre subdivision, it's on 220.
220.
Phase 1, which is 3 lots, they're taking them down slowly because of the agricultural rollback. Phase 2 will be lots 4 through 10. Again, they have direct access on the county road. They have given us additional road right-of-way as part of the planning process so that we can have proper width there. We're recommending approval as presented. I do not have the Mylar plat this morning. I contacted Cameron this morning to find out if they were going to get it to me. He's in the delivery room. They're having a baby this morning, so
Oh, good.
we're not going to interfere with that. I'll circulate it for signature after we do get it.
So they have Reagan's Run and Reagan's Estate.
Everything we do is Reagan's. There's another one coming, a new one that I haven't seen the name on yet, so I'm sure it'll be Reagan something.
So this is lots 4 through 10?
4 through 10
Okay.
of Reagan's Run subdivision, which is considered phase 2 of the subdivision. And these are basically 2 1/4, 2 acre lots.
Do you know if they're deed restricted?
I don't believe they put any restrictions. I'd have to go back and look at his application. I don't think they submitted any covenants and restrictions for the subdivision.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, they're restricted to single family per the plat, but I don't think there were any other covenants beyond that.
And this is,
And all of them should fit with our environmental for septic systems and all that.
Yes, this is pretty well and septic method.
is this your precinct or Commissioner W's?
Commissioner
It's precinct 2.
If there are no further questions, then I Make the motion, we approve the Reagan Run Phase 2 plat.
Second.
There's a motion before the court on agenda item number 18 by Commissioner Walker, seconded by Commissioner Mallett. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. Agenda item number 19, consideration and possible approval of award of annual asphalt and emulsions contract to Martin Asphalt, or attachment number 19.
On April 13th, we opened bids for our annual asphalt emulsions contract. We received 4 bids this year. Martin Asphalt was the low bidder. And surprisingly, the prices were very stable from last year, even
Really?
a couple of places where they went down a penny or so a gallon. I was expecting or afraid of a significant increase with what's going on with oil prices, but they held their prices. Martin was a low bidder, pretty much across the board on every product that we buy. They do have our current contract. Their service has been good, so I'm recommending that we award the 2021 contract to Martin Asphalt at the price, the unit price is specified.
No questions. I move that we award annual asphalt and emulsions contract to Martin Asphalt.
Second.
There's a motion before the court on agenda item number 19 by Commissioner Cox, seconded by Commissioner Walker. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. Mr. Walker, thank you. We'll now, Road and Bridge report, that was submitted to us.
Yes.
Any questions or any highlights you want to share, Mr. Walker?
Continuing to prepare for our paving projects. We're monitoring the new subdivision on Highway 30. Muirwood is under construction now. In fact, they're doing the concrete pour right about now. The solar project is kind of getting going. They're getting their laydown yard and everything set up. So it's gotten a little bit of a slow start, it looks like to me, but it's coming along. And we're seeing quite a bit of plating activity. I've got 3 or 4 more plats that we're processing right now that will be coming before y'all shortly. So a lot going on the real estate side these days too.
And I'd like to say, Mr. Walker, I did receive a phone call thanking you all for coming out and removing the overhanging trees on County Road 328.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We'll go to agenda item number 20, consider and take action to approve proclamation designating April 2nd, 2021 through May 2nd, 2021 as Soil and Water Stewardship Week in Grimes County, and authorize the county judge as signatory. See agenda item number 20, and I have the original here. I will read it. 2021 Soil and Water Stewardship Week proclamation, whereas fertile soil and clean water provide us with our daily sustenance, and whereas effective conservation practices have helped provide us a rich standard of living, and whereas our security depends upon healthy soil and clean water, and whereas stewardship calls for each person to help conserve these precious resources, therefore I do hereby proclaim April 25 to May 2, 2021, Soil and Water Stewardship Week. Are we in agreement with that, Commissioner?
Yes, sir. I
And
make
I will sign.
we need to put it to action. You say take action. So do.
Sure.
I make the motion that we approve the proclamation designating April 2nd, 2021 through May 2nd, 2021 as Soil and Water Stewardship Week in Grimes County, and authorize the county judge as signatory.
Second.
There is a motion before the court on agenda item number 20 by Commissioner Walker, seconded by Commissioner Cox. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And the original document is signed here, Ms. Wagner. We'll go to agenda item number 21, consider and take action regarding the burn ban and authorize the county judge as signatory. I would suggest we take no action, but I'll throw this one word of caution. Because of the wind out and we are a little bit dry, I would ask that anybody that's watching or aware of burning to be cautious with your burning. It's supposed to rain later on today and tomorrow, and we should be good, but we always need to be vigilant. Any other comments regarding that?
Yeah, I did see on KBTX, the weather man did advise caution as far as burning.
Right. Mr. Lilly, you okay with that analysis?
I concur with what you said, Judge.
Then we'll take no action on 21. Agenda item number 22, receive any updates on the strategic plan?
I did receive information this week regarding the 1115 waiver, and we have asked for a meeting with the hospital to give a further explanation to us as to how the rescinding of that waiver is going to affect us. We're hoping that Texas can correct the problem, and the federal government is allowing them time to make an appeal. So we will update you when we get more updates.
Are you going to, since you kind of head that up, are you bringing Commissioner Mallett into those discussions?
I think he's been made aware of them.
All right.
I haven't discussed it.
If he's not available to join you, or he's joining and you're not available, I'd like to be the substitute.
Sure.
So I stay in tune, okay? All right. With that, is anything else on strategic plan? We'll go to agenda item number 23, motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Before we adjourn, can I back up and say something? Because you sent me the information, so I have been communicating with you, so I will continue that communication. I have not communicated with Commissioner Mallett on that item, so sure, that is your wheelhouse as far as the 1115 waiver.
Well, I just didn't want three of us together, but if the two of you weren't able to participate, I was.
And I just want to make clear that I hadn't spoke with
No, I
Commissioner
haven't
Mallett.
spoke, I did receive it, but I didn't get to speak.
Okay. All right, so I do have an emotion. I do have an emotional adjournment here from Commissioner Mallett. Is there another motion? Is there a second? All right. We have a motion on agenda item number 23 by Commissioner Mallett, seconded by Commissioner Walker. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye opposed. We're adjourned.